this is me like ahead of time in the future telling you I messed up a lot. So there's definitely things that I did not know, and after I thought about it, I did know. But being in a position that I was in, rushing to try to get things done, that's what happens when you rush. Me trying to jump on opportunities and get things done. But long story short, I'm going to get it done, and just, I don't know why, whatever you're watching for, if you're actually trying to figure out how to do this, then absolutely get through the whole thing so you don't screw up like I did. But at the end, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna explain all the things to avoid and where I messed up so you don't do it.
This is a Wizard production.
Good morning, people. Another edition of Why Do I Do This to Myself and Poor Decisions. So on this one, we're getting back to the B body, my 91 Chevy Caprice, and moving on to the next thing. You guys have seen the steering wheel. You guys have seen, well, me first off, for starters, get it to run by overheating. That went successfully. Then you guys saw the bumpers, how I came across those miraculously, and things just fell into place, which rarely ever happens for me. I got to get rid of some things that were taking up space that I was not using, aka the rims. Then I was able to obtain the bumper, which got that to RVT built, which got me the other bumper. It was just a beautiful thing. So now it's a couple things that I got to do that's kind of like odds and ends ish, and one of those being as though the floor is in horrible condition, has been in horrible condition for a while. I remember when I first discovered how bad it was, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go and try to get some floor pieces. So I talked to KP. He said I could come over and check out this one car that he has. Apparently, I think they have another one that's coming in that they're going to get parts for because he has multiple B bodies. But going to go over, talk to him, and check out the other one. And hopefully the floor pans look in decent condition, or at least way better than the ones that I have, but we'll see. We'll go and check that out later. So for starters, we're getting this thing movable. I am working on a lot of things for the rear end. Not going to spoil that, but what I will say is I do have a 9C1 rear for this thing that was worked up. Got it from Denny a long time ago. Denny's made multiple passes on them with that rear in it. In his B body, he had a bolt on. He was definitely putting up some impressive numbers for a bolt on car, 100%. But that's the rear that I have for this thing. Now, it's gonna be a while before I can actually get it in. This rear, I don't know what it is. Ever since I put it in, I had the issue where it would, like, for some reason, it sits closer to the passenger side of the car, and it gave me more space on the driver. Now, with the old 7.5-inch rear I had in here, I didn't have that problem. I was able to put 275 60/15s on both sides, tucked into the skirt, which I love that look. And with them being tucked in the skirt, I still had a little space. Of course, yes, I did have to bend the lip down that is in the end fender, but once that was done, it worked out perfect. Problem was, after I put the Impala SS rear that's in here now, I'm not sure why, but for some reason, I wasn't able to fit the 275 60 back on the passenger side. So I had to go with this dumb skinny tire, literally just to get around and still get from A to B. So long story short, until I can find the place to do my rear end and get everything done at least halfway to the way that I want, I still am going to need to drive this thing around. This donut thing on the back is about to pop. It's splitting all kinds of crap. Miraculously, by, you know, the grace of God, it has not blown. So in the process of me going over to KP's and try to get the sheet metal out, I'm also going to have to drive a little past King of Prussia to get to Drexel Hill because I'm cheap. And I found another tire that's new that came on a guy's spare, supposedly, and he wants like 35 bucks for it, but it's like maybe a hair wider than what's on there, so I know it's going to work, and it will last me to be able to drive this and get this thing around until I do the rear end swap. So this one is the tiny donutty thing that I was talking about. This is actually, I think it's a 215 75 15, but with that being on here, it definitely fits up in here and doesn't touch. I still have a little more than finger space to go in there, and the tire that I found was a 225 75 15. So I'm going from a 215 to a 225. It should still go up in here no problem and be in way better condition than this thing is, because this is just death waiting to happen. But again, not sure why this thing sticks so far over to this side and is shifted. I'm quite sure there's bad bushings, who knows what. But when I do the rear end, all of that is going to change. Now let's take a peek at the sheet metal that is my current nightmare. So as you can see, this is toast. Yeah, not going to work. Has to come out, and a pretty big chunk needs to come out. So I definitely have to keep in mind, probably take a few photos so I have reference when I go over there where I need to start cutting. Then the other side, same thing, not as bad, but still, those are crappy spots to be in, which is where it would probably be easier to be able to cut from a factory floor and do patchwork rather than trying to just use raw metal and manipulate it from scratch to do patchwork. Then same thing back here. Don't want that going and getting caught on our tire. Anyway, same thing back here. Got to cut this out. Absolutely need this chunk back here. And over there isn't bad. I just have a really bad crack that is not supporting the seat, which I'm going to have to weld myself. There's no way around it because I can't drive this thing safely. Ironically, I can't drive this thing safely until I get that taken care of. Not sure how well you can see it, but right where this back mount goes on is where the floor started to tear. Tried to weld that a while ago, did not go well, but now I have to take my time and really learn and practice with some sheet metal in the yard, get it down packed, and then fix it. So now at this point, we're gonna go over to KP's, see what we can find, and hopefully be able to use something. So here it is, or what's left of it. I gotta go and, like I said, open it up. These two look pretty straight. There's a couple dents on the bottom, but it's way better than the one that I got. And this front door, I would definitely say is probably better than the one I got. Not much left to pick from. Got the back all cut out. Somebody must have needed a quarter. My trunk's not in bad condition, but I could take this lid if I was being lazy just to have a spare lid, but I don't know. So just gonna take a look at the inside. All right, so interior, I'm not really going to be able to use any of the interior like plastic panels because of the year difference and the dash difference. So what I am going to do though, to try to map out what I'm going to do later, is I'm going to pull this carpet out of the way so that way I can see what the floor looks like. So I'm gonna get started on that.
This is another DJ DNA production.
All right, so started yanking stuff out. I do got to get a box cutter so that way I can like get the carpet out of the way instead of using like the impact or whatever to get the bolt out for the seat belts. I mean, I have to do that, I don't know, but a good chunk of the floor is definitely better than what I got. So here's the floor, complete with no holes, to where as though mine does have holes. Now I'm gonna cut like it literally as big as I can, so that way I can make sure that I cut out a large portion of what I actually need. Now over here is a little scary, but honestly, even that over there, still better than what I got. I can just hope that after, like, you know, knocking a bit of the rust off that there's no holes. But yeah, already this floor is still better, in better condition than mine, and is going to give me at least a boost in trying to get my floor right and decent. Back floor, still got to kind of get a better line of sight of this thing because, oh, all right, it's kind of heavy. Yeah, without me going super ham, I don't think I'm really going to get a good look. Here we go. All right, I think that's better, but that one on mine isn't really too bad. Let me check the other side. It's still not up far enough, but I don't see holes where mine does have holes, so I kind of got hopes for this. But yep, taking it all, man. Taking as much as I can get. All right, so for the most part, after looking at the doors, there's only one door, and that's the back passenger side that I would actually use. That one I would probably use, but if it's worth it, I don't know. And also the trunk lid too, because if I had this extra trunk lid that's straight with no body damage, I could just take this to Joey and have Joey spray it. And truthfully, that kind of takes away downtime. I could actually drop the trunk lid off, have him spray it, and I can just do a swap out when I get back to my house, or just drive over to him and have him swap it. So I may take the trunk lid too, but that pretty much wraps it up. I just wanted to come over here after work, get a plan, figure out what I'm gonna get when I come by here tomorrow to try to get in and out as quick as possible. So let's see how that goes. All right, next day, people, my last day off, and I am going for it. Gonna go and grab the sheet metal. I'm just looking at this bumper because every time I come outside, it's really nice to look at it. But yeah, gotta go get this sheet metal. And in order to do that, I have to be war ready. So therefore, I am grabbing a bunch of crap in my arsenal, just throwing it in the car, and hoping that the battery power is enough. It should, because I have some huge Milwaukee batteries with me, but let's check it out. So for starters, going through my checklist, everything that I need, definitely Pokemon cards, check. You know what I'm saying? Something to bribe the kids with, to tell them to shut up and be quiet and be nice to their mother while I'm gone. Then I got my Milwaukee bag so I can kind of keep the things separated and whatnot. This pack out bag was pretty cool. I get everything off of Marketplace, like used or new or whatever, but definitely cheaper. So I'm gonna toss the stuff in here so it stays in one place. But this is what I'm bringing with me. So I have my Milwaukee Insider with the interchangeable heads here to go from 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, all that stuff with a bunch of sockets. Then I have my hacksaw. I usually use a smaller blade. I may stop and get a smaller one, but this one's new. I'll use it for something in the house. Then I have my my cutoff wheel here. Got this bad boy. This is absolutely going to take the brunt of the work, and I'm going to need multiple blades, which I do have. I have to go in the house and get them. Then we have the other batteries, the M12 batteries. I got 1, 2, and 3s in the car. That should be enough because I'm not going to use this stuff much. If anything, it's just the saws that's going to get the big workout. Then as far as battery goes, I have my good HD12 because my other one is doing some weird stuff. Then I have a forged 8 amp hour. I have another forged 8 amp hour in the truck. And then I have the 3 just for in case, I don't know, something small. But either way, I'm going to get this stuff packed away in here, and hopefully it's enough to go and do the job that we intend to do. All right, and last but not least, to handle that problem, I have one spare 9C1 after doing that deal to get the 400 small block, and there it is. So that's going to be the key here, because especially where I live at and people complaining and watching and all that crap, I'm going to have to do these and recondition them like one at a time. So I'm going to get this tire taken off. Still debating on if I'm going to keep it or not. It's pretty old. It is a 275/16, but either way, I need to get it off the rim, clean up the rim, paint the rim, and then get the tire that we're going to go get today on there so I can replace that. And then once that comes off, that tire is going to come off the rim, get reconditioned, and now I'm just going to pick another side and recondition another tire. Just got the tire. It was weird because that freaking street, the hill on it, oh my gosh. I forgot how hilly Drexel Hill is, but Drexel Hill. But yeah, it's super hilly, and I just literally pulled the truck like almost horizontal on the road temporarily just to hop out, give them the money, get the tire, and keep it rolling. Because I'm like, yeah, with no e-brake on this thing, I am not trying to freaking put all of that stress on that small tiny pin, if you know, in the transmission. That's something I got to deal with at a later date, because I do want to go back to getting the e-brake, as weird as it may sound for some people, but I mean, because it is a daily driver, it can come in handy sometimes. But anyway, I'm probably about 30 minutes out from KP's, but GPS is kind of like that reddish orangish color, so who knows what I'm gonna run into on the way. So I want to say it's gonna put me there at like 12:10, something like that. So I have a little less than 2 hours to get all of this done. Because again, I have to get back to the house because the old lady got a doctor's appointment and I have to be there with the kids. So I'm gonna try to knock all of this out in a couple hours, hit the road, and hopefully it works out. All right, y'all know your boy had to make a pit stop, man. Saved by the bell, baby, saved by the bell. Taco Bell, that is. But anyway, got something to get me through for these next few hours. There's the tire. Good condition, definitely not new like you said, because new tires don't have pebbles in the tread. But anyway, great tread. Don't see any plugs or anything like that, so it should be good to go. But get back on the road, fuel up, well, physically that is, and get moving. All right, y'all, back over here at KP's. Got everything, or at least we hope we got everything we need. But yeah, locked and loaded. So got my stuff with me, and there it is. So y'all know what we came over here to do, get back where we left off at, which is definitely going to be this carpet. So for starters, I just got to debate if I'm going to actually get a nut and bolt to take those out so that the carpet's free. Well, not nut and bolt, but more like the actual socket, or just get a box cutter and cut it. I think that's what I'm gonna start with. So time to get busy. All right, so this time trying to take care of myself in my older age. But anyway, got me an N95 and got some glasses, so that way from me cutting all this metal up, nothing's kicking back, because I've already went the Will's eye for having a piece of metal go right into my oobel. But we're trying to avoid that this time. And then plus some of that rust over there in that corner, I am going to kind of hit it with a small wire wheel just to see whether it's surface or it goes all the way through. I'm hoping it don't, but I've been breathing in those rust fumes and all the other crap for years. So now that's why I'm trying to somewhat start at some point to try to do something about that. So got everything out, and man, this is absolutely in better condition than mine. And truthfully, I'm thinking what I might need to do, well, not need, but it just may be the smarter thing to do. I am going to take this entire pan. Thing is, I'm not going to be able to fit it in the truck like I want to. And then storing it away is going to be a bit of a pain. So I'll figure that out. I may have to try to take it out in one piece and then cut it in half for storage, or I still need to do it in two pieces, because how am I going to get one whole sheet metal? Yeah, I just answered my own question. I'm not going to be able to cut this whole thing out and pull it out of a door. It's not going to work like that. So I'm going to have to cut it in sections. It is what it is, but try to leave it as complete as possible to make it easier for whoever does the sheet work metal. All right, so your boy's suited and booted, and I think I'm just gonna hit this rust real quick, so let's just see what happens with that on the passenger side. All right, fingers crossed, people, fingers crossed. Look at all that dust. That's what I'm avoiding with this mask. This is the type of stuff I've been breathing in for years. Okay, bingo. All right, is what it is. So it's still better than mine, and this stuff is surface rust here, no holes, but that up there, definitely a hole. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a couple pinholes still here, but either way, still in business. I'm probably gonna do the hard to get to cuts first, get those out of the way, which is gonna take the most energy, and then do the big open cuts on the floor. All right, so checking back in with y'all. Your boy almost got again, because even though I had on the freaking glasses, it's like ricocheted off the side, which is kind of like what sent me to Will's Eye Hospital. And last time was because it ricocheted off my cheek and it made its way up under the glasses into my eye. But I think I'm good. And let me show you what I got done so far. So this was absolutely not fun, but there we go. Pretty jagged, whatever. Got it through all the way over here, and then started to come down the side. So I did the same thing on the other side and cut all the way through, and now I'm all the way over there. I'm just gonna kind of do a combination of the cutoff wheel plus the metal hacksaw to get through, and once I do this whole perimeter, I think I'm going to then figure out how I'm going to chop this thing down to get it out in pieces. What I'm thinking I may do is I may just like cut along the tunnel on both sides. I could just split the tunnel down the middle, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about ease of getting it out, and also what may be better for whoever's going to be doing the work. Alrighty, hacksaw time. This is like freaking putting an elephant in a smart car. Ow. Ow! Oh, all right. You know what? I think I'm gonna sit down. All right, fingers crossed. I'm hoping it just goes like butter. That is not going like butter. Patience is a virtue. If not, I'm going right back to the darn cutoff wheel. All right, I think I'm going back. It's just because with this thing, it creates less small particles that can get into my lungs and kill me over time. Whereas though this creates a lot of it. And not to mention sparks freaking burning your skin. Okay, update, rookie mistake. All that cutting I did, and I still can't get it out from some spots because it looks like there's like some, I forgot what type of welds they are. It might even be a weld, but a push connection, you know, something like that. But let me show you what I mean. So you can see the floor is bending from me trying to pry it up, and it's looking like, because it's attached here, that must be a brace that's under the car, and now I know that this brace runs the entire length. So I'm gonna have to cut again, but on the inside of these rivets, because these things here is what is holding it on. So hopefully cut those out, I'll be good to go, but I'm getting a feeling I'm gonna be recutting probably all along the side again. Shout out to these freaking forged 8 amp hour batteries, because this bad boy almost got me through the entire perimeter except for like an inch over here, and then I had to like swap out. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be cutting a lot more. All right, so not going too well for me. Is what it is. This is kind of the chances you take when you just go for it. So when it comes to cutting out these floors, like I said, there is a brace under there that these things are attached to, and you'd really have to have some thick, good sawzall, maybe not just a hacksaw, to cut through, which I have, but it's not even here with me. So all of these wasted cuts at the top for no reason, because I wasn't even able to get the floor out because I had to come under to where it wasn't in contact with the reinforced braces that are under the floor. Then this section here, I thought I could take with me, and then grabbing it, it's like, I can move and maneuver it, but this is a thick ass piece. Like I don't have the right freaking sawzall, and I think if I did, then I would have been able to get this out. This isn't horrible on my car, but I was just hoping to give the more fresh metal as possible to whoever's doing the work. But now here's the other part. This is really going to be a problem. This section here that is all up in the camera is a big problem for my car. It's probably one of the biggest parts that I need. Now, as far as this is disconnected. I can move this, and the floor actually moves. That's in my hand. But when it comes to over here, you can see these 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 points where it's mated to the steel. I'm not going to be able to get that off because there is a huge chunk of metal behind it that it is stuck to, and I know what it looks like. Why? Because mine's rotted out and I can see it. So it looks like I'm gonna end up being cut short. I'm probably gonna have to come with a vertical line straight down to avoid that, and then come under them and hopefully be able to at least get this piece and just take what I can. All right, it's a loss, y'all. It's a loss. Almost got this chunk out, learned some more about the proper way to do it, but I'm out of time. Gotta go, I gotta haul ass to make it this appointment. Well, to make it to get the kids while my old lady go to her appointment, but it is what it is. I mean, if it's gone, then that's a total loss, but if I can make it back here to finish the job, then yay, but I don't know, we'll see. All right, so that's a wrap on today, trying to get that stuff. Maybe I'll get over there tomorrow after work to try to finish it off, but I don't even know. But I gotta finish it before the junk man come get it and gets rid of it. So what I am gonna do though is to get these out of the house. I have these, ironically, they're called Motor Trend. I don't know if it has anything to do with Motor Trend that you watch, which has recently fired all of my idols. But anyway, I'm gonna take these mats and put them in for now because main problem is, as long as the windshield front and back are leaking, water's gonna continue to get on the floor, making the rust worse. I do have to treat it. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do that. So for now, I'm just gonna throw these on top of the floor so they will catch the water, and then I can just dump it out. So these are the same ones I got in the Kodiak, kind of like a WeatherTech-ish design, where you can see it's raised along the edges, so it will catch the water. I'm just gonna pop it in and throw them temporarily, just right on top, so that doesn't get any worse until I can treat it. All right, so put these in for the time being, and that should catch the water coming in from the windshield, and then I can just dump it out, both sides out of the way, until I can get this stuff treated. Okay, multiple days later, I was able to sweet talk KP into not letting the junk man take it and to give me a couple more days. I think the deadline I kind of gave myself was, I was like, dude, I'll have everything off by Tuesday. I still have days of work in between, and going there now, which is Friday afternoon, I picked up overtime, so I can't stay too long. Got to be ready to go in tomorrow morning and work the night. But you got to do what you got to do. Bills got to get paid, moves got to get made. So now I'm headed over there to, and I got all my tools, batteries charged up, and going to see how smoothly things go. Hopefully I can get the rest of it off. I highly doubt it, but I'm gonna get off as much as I can, just so it's less for me to do later. Because Monday when I go back, I am going to be on no sleep. I am going to be coming straight from a night shift right over there and trying to get busy. I'm not trying to do anything and I guess overextend if I don't have to. So hopefully I can grab a good amount of stuff today. But was late to that appointment that we talked about, so me and the old lady beefed after going over there the other day, which you guys saw. And yeah, not fun. Covered in metal, sweat, the taste of metal, and arguing with the missus. Not fun. But definitely my fault, because I should have left sooner. Me pushing the envelope, I was late to the appointment, but it is what it is. All right, I'm here, I'm loaded up. I really don't even got much time to talk. I'm running out of daylight. I'm gonna get busy. All right, so I got my handy dandy Amazon light here, kind of acting like a dome light. Anyway, got it pretty much cut out on this side, and I didn't do too much work when I got here. I actually just did a little bit over in this corner because that was still connected, and I want to say that was it. That was the main cut. But what's really getting to me is the things that I messed up by trying to rush and do this job. For starters, not sure how well you're going to see this. I'm not taking this piece, even though I could have and just did a patch job to it, but this divot here, I'm not sure what you actually call these. I'll look it up, but it's almost like a rivet press weld. These are all along the floor. If I was to drill these out with a drill bit that's like, I want to say the same diameter or maybe a little bigger, if I was to use a drill bit and go through these, that would break the contact that this top sheet metal of the floor has with these braces that are under the floor to help support it. Also, like over there, how I avoided cutting that section off, even though I wanted to get the whole thing in one piece, because I'm thinking, oh no, it's too much to try to get through that. Which it was, because again, I was rushing to try to get it done because I had so many other things going on. But over here, you can tell I actually made it through. So if I wouldn't have been rushing and able to like just take my time and sit and chill and get it done and think, then I would have gotten all the way through eventually on all of these and been able to get that entire chunk along with the rest of the floor with it. So that all could have been one piece. This one all could have been one piece, but I'm realizing that now. You can see how I already went to go and cut around it, but just to see it come apart here and know, wow, I was like almost there. It's just a lot tougher to cut through that many layers of sheet metal. But definitely a learning experience. And that was just me trying to get as much of the floor as I possibly could, just in case. I could have just stuck with literally just cutting the sections that I need, which absolutely would have been faster. But me being Mr. Extra and not knowing what they may need, whatever shop or whoever I get to do this, I just wanted to be on the safe side. But anyway, you're gonna do whatever fits your situation at your time. But I am gonna work on getting the rest of this out. I think over here, it may still be press welded, so that's why it's coming out and still stuck together, even though the top layer is obviously split. So this is almost out. This should be coming home with me on this trip. There it is, man. Really sucks. I could have got that whole piece. But this is the experiences that you get to learn from. And hopefully, y'all watching my mistakes, y'all won't do the same. Oh. Morning, people, morning. Fresh off night work, no sleep, straight over to the gas station because I gotta get gas. It sucks because I hate filling up in Philly, but I can just go to Jersey right across the bridge and then save so much money on gas. But anyway, last we left off, I was over at KP's getting all of the stuff off, and then I ended up taking off the trunk lid. I ended up taking off, what else did I take off? I ended up taking off the door because one of the doors were good where mine sucks. So got that off and got the fans and radiator off. It was so dark, I didn't have time to film, so I just had to get it done and get back to it later. So I'll go and pick that up later. But I will show you the floor pan and what that looks like. So again, super upset because I could have had that connected. We already talked about that. It is what it is. But took a wire wheel to it and only found like a small pinhole in a couple of spots, and that's it. So what I'm gonna do, I am gonna wire wheel and continue to do that, but also to like coat it in those areas while it's in storage with like either the Eastwood rust encapsulator or even like a spray paint type of protector.